Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really exciting video. I'm going to make my summer TBR and bucket list spread in my reading journal. So I will be making a spread for all of the books I want to read, for all of the shows and movies I want to watch, for the video games I want to play, and the cozy hobbies I want to try in summer. So if that sounds good to you, let's light this candle and we'll get started. And there we go, with that lit, we can get started. We'll see if that candle lasts the whole video. I might have to get another one. So I'm letting my tea steep, and my tea is actually kind of on my bucket list. As I was coming up with ideas for what hobbies I want to do this summer, I was thinking to include steeping tea in a clear teapot like this, with specifically loose leaf and floral teas that bloom, and I decided I would go ahead and make one to kind of check that off my bucket list because I already had the things to make it. And when it's done steeping, I will pour it in my teacup. And I like these small teacups because the idea is that it stays hot longer and you get to just sip a little bit at a time. So that's why I have my little teacup today. And I'm new to this teapot. I'm going to let a little steam out. I kind of wanted to show you guys the flower as it blooms. We'll see if I can show you real quick. I put it on a coaster because I shouldn't really put boiling water on my desk. But there you can see it's blooming. This is a sunset oolong tea that has orange lily and a ruby amaranth flower. So I'm really excited to try that. I already know I want to cut my Dutch door, so I'm going to do that first. I'm going to do the same layout that I've been doing for my seasonal TBRs. It's a rainy, gloomy day while I'm filming this, which I kind of like in the summer. Someone's out cutting the grass, I think because, you know, the rain cooled it off a little bit outside. So I hear someone cutting the grass and the birds still chirping, but it's more of a rainy, cloudy day. But it's really beautiful. So I cut my Dutch door, and I did not cut it perfectly, but I find that that doesn't usually bother me. It's actually when I try to take the time to make it more perfect that I end up kind of messing it up. So I think I will probably leave it. And pro tip, if you have one of those paper cutters that fits on your desk / on your journal and you can just slide a page in and cut it with a straight edge, that works the best. My paper cutter is a bit too big for that, so I just hand cut it. And I've got my corner rounder. There we go. And if you're curious, this is an A5 journal from Notebook Therapy, and I'll pop up, if I can find like the millimeter of this grid, I'll pop it up on the screen. And I am 15 dot grids wide on my little Dutch door. So with that cut, let's draw my borders with my 0.5 micron. Comment and let me know if you do monthly or seasonal TBRs. I'm curious if you guys like to plan your reads and or hobbies and shows seasonally or monthly, if at all. Let me know what you like to do. And there we go. There are all of my areas boxed in with a double line. And now we can start decorating and going through the books that I want to read in summer. So if you don't know, I do these seasonally, so I plan on each of my seasonal spreads representing 3 months. So this spread will include June, July, and August, and I'm not super specific with the dates. Summer starts on June 21st, and I'm going to probably just count all of June and maybe go until August 21st, so I can quickly get into fall, my fall reads and my fall TBR when I want to. And since I will cover about 3 months worth of time, I allot 12 books so that I can average 4 books a month. This helps me meet my reading goals and is just kind of a decent amount of books for me to try to predict, right? Because I'm kind of a mood reader, so these are books that I hope to read, want to read, but we'll see if anything else pops up as the summer goes on, see if something else catches my eye. But this will be what I plan on reading, and I've got them over here cut into strips already, but I figured we could cut them out and talk about them. So I think I will use my bigger scissors for this. So in my first column, I have Seer of Seven Waters, which is the next book in the Seven Waters series that I'm reading by Juliette Marillier. I took a little break from this series, but I read the first 3 in this series. I think there's 6 total. I read the first 3 back to back, so I'm kind of going to try to do the next 3 back to back as best I can. So I have this one. This is the 5th one, I believe. Then I have the next 2 books in the Emma M. Lyon series, The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, volumes 5 and 6. I am on the 4th right now, so I plan to at least read these 2 over the summer. I might read even more than that, but I thought 2 of the books was plenty to represent the series on my spread. Then we have The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a graphic novel version of her series, The Raven Boys. I read the first one this month, actually, while I'm filming, and I loved it so much that I definitely want to read the second one, and I like having these and the Emma M. Lyon on my TBR because they're a bit shorter, and some of the other books I'll show you are a bit longer. Nothing crazy, but you know, the Seven Waters series are about 500, 600 pages long, typically so far. And then I've also got Sarah J. Maas. So let's cut this row and then I'll go through these ones. Then I have Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas and Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. I'm currently on Queen of Shadows, and these 2 come next. And so I'm hoping over the summer I can make it through both of them. They're getting longer as the series goes on, but I'm really enjoying them. And so I do want to prioritize the series I'm in, hence why I've got Emma M. Lyon, Seven Waters, and Throne of Glass on here. Then we have Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This is a very popular book. The original cover of it, I remember, caught my eye like years and years ago. When I was like maybe 18, I remember seeing it and it always catching my eye in the bookstore. And I finally got my hands on the book, and I got this, what is it, like 20th anniversary, some anniversary edition of the cover. And it's not too long of a book, and so I figured I should try this out. I think it has like a little bit of sci-fi horror type of vibe around nature and plants. So that felt summery enough for me in terms of horror. I don't read loads of horror at all. So I figured if I was going to, I like plant and nature type of things. If you recall me reading Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews and the Sworn Soldier series by T. Kingfisher, I'm thinking maybe this will give a little bit similar vibes to those, generally speaking. So I have that. Then I have a classic collection of Ralph Waldo Emerson essays. This one is called Nature and Selected Essays. So Nature is a book I believe you can get published on its own. I think it's just very short, so I don't have this book yet, but I would like to get it because I've been reading Mary Oliver's collection of essays called Upstream, and she has a whole chapter on Emerson, and I just realized I've never read anything by him, I don't think, so I really wanted to prioritize that. It's just been calling to me. I loved this cover with the ferns. And the other day when I was reading Mary Oliver, it's a book I'm reading slowly and highlighting as I go. And she was talking about Emerson, and I got out my new Paper Republic journal and started commonplacing about Emerson as quoted by Mary Oliver. And then one thing led to another, and I switched to an audiobook, and it was the third Emma M. Lyon volume, and she was talking about Emerson in the exact chapter that I was on. So I thought that was just, I don't know, the universe or someone was telling me I should read Emerson. So I thought, what better way than to start with nature? And the other collected essays, this is the Penguin Random House version. So I'm planning to get that as my classic for the summer. And then let's cut these out. Then we have Heir to Seven Waters. This is the next one I'm on, so this is the fourth one. The other I showed is the fifth one in the series, so I plan to read 2 in this series. If you don't know, this series starts with a book called Daughter of the Forest. It's a retelling of the classic fairy tale, The Six Swans. The series in general has a lot of Celtic Gaelic folklore and is very beautifully written. Her writing style is very lyrical and just beautiful, so this is a historical fantasy. Then I have A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the second book in the Leviathan series. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit to talk. My voice is kind of raspy. I don't know if it's coming across or not, but I've had a little bit of a cold. This is the second book, like I said, so I don't know as much of what this book will be about, but it will continue from the first book. They're kind of like standalone mysteries, but with a through line of an underlying larger mystery going on. Some people compare this series to Attack on Titan, if you've ever watched or read that, because there is a large wall keeping something out. And meanwhile, in this city, we follow Anna and Din, who are detectives, and they are trying to solve a murder in the first book that has to do with a bioengineered plant. So it also has that kind of like plant horror in it and sci-fi elements. So this and Annihilation kind of go together in my mind, or they're definitely in the same like vibe compared to the rest of these. And then I have Sense and Sensibility, which I have read at least half of before when I was a good bit younger, and I put the movie on my spring TBR and never got around to it, but partially because I realized I should read the book and then watch the movie. I've seen the movie before, but it's been a good while, so I thought I would like to read the book. I don't have this cover. I have the Penguin Classic cover, but I thought I would put this greener cover in here because the book has a lot of different covers with more summary illustrations than the one I have, so I went with this one. And then we have The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. This, I think, is in the same world as 3 other books by her. What's that series called? I'll pop it up on the screen. But I read the other 3 books in this spin-off series, like where each book can be read on its own, but they all have connecting characters. I read those books last February, all back to back, as well as some short stories by Abby Jimenez, and I loved all of them. So I'm hoping I will love this one as well. Again, for kind of a shorter read paired with my longer Sarah J. Maas series and some classics and things. I'm hoping this is a good mix of some long books, some medium, and some short. That way, if I do want to mood read something else, maybe I can have room for all of them. Who knows? We can dream, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and glue these down since this is the main thing in my spread. It looks like my ink transferred a little bit from the back of this, so I should have let that dry more, but that's okay. We'll mostly cover it with my books. Stopping for tea. Let's try the tea. It's really good. I think tea like this is a great excuse to slow down and to enjoy it, enjoy the beauty of it, and enjoy the subtle but unique flavors that come along with this kind of tea. There are all of the covers glued down. And now let's start decorating the cover. I want to use this butterfly sticker from Jessica Lancaster Art. She's an artist I like to support and I love her stickers, so it's a win-win. I have some of my floral stickers I want to use, and I think I'm going to go with a yellow and blue theme because let me show you these washi tapes I picked out. These are all from my Van Gogh set from EB. I've used all of them before. I think that's why they're all like coming up like that. And I was inspired by actually my summer TBR from last year. I'll pop a picture of that up, but I just really like how that turned out. I thought it was really fun. And it's a spread that as I would flip through my reading journal and I would come across it, I just found myself really drawn to it. So I wanted to do one kind of similar but different. And so I think I'm going to go with blues and yellows. That's what I've picked out for a summery theme. I love making these seasonal spreads. They really get me in the mood for the season and excited for all of like the hobbies and seasonal things that I want to do. Just taking the time to think about it and plan it a little bit is really nice. And I feel like before I did these spreads, I feel like I always had things I wanted to do each season, but I was not as intentional about them just because I probably didn't write them down. So making these spreads is really helpful and a really nice way to live seasonally and romanticize each season. I feel like I've always kind of enjoyed every season. I've preferred spring and fall most of my life, but I really enjoy summer and different things about summer and the way you would feel as a kid when you were out of school for the summer. That carries a lot of nostalgia for me, and going to the pool and things like that. So, and then, you know, same with winter. If you make it cozy and you don't get too much of the winter blues, it can be really enjoyable. So I feel like coming up with, you know, the books you're going to read, the media you're going to consume, and planning it intentionally can be really fun and make the whole season just all the more enjoyable. So I would recommend doing this. I was thinking of putting this one with the gold gilding over here. I thought it might fit really well, and it looks like it fits like perfectly. And I already ripped some brown paper for my title because I like to do this on my seasonal TBRs. But if you're curious, I usually cut, you can just freehand start ripping paper, but I usually have some brown paper and I go to my paper cutter and cut it down to strips that are 1 inch. And then I cut the strip into squares that are 1 inch. So, you know, I just flip the little strip and cut it again until I have 1 by 1 inch square pieces, and then I rip the edges. So that's what I did for this, and I thought I might do something I did on my summer TBR last year. They barely fit the word summer when you do this, but I still love how it looks. And last year, I put some washi tape on a piece of paper and cut that out into larger squares. So here's a scrap piece of paper, and I'll show you. I'm thinking this purple one just to throw some more purples in there since I have some book covers that are purple. Again, from the same set, and I'm just going to place a strip right there and then another one. And I'm going to go do the same thing and cut this out on my paper cutter, but I won't rip it. So the 1 inch by 1 inch square should fit the ripped square inside of it, if that makes sense. I cut them and I think I have enough. Let's see. Okay, I think what I will do is rip my brown pieces a little bit smaller. I sometimes have to do this. This is only the second time I've put a background to my brown pieces of paper, so let's rip them a little bit smaller, and then we'll stamp the letters on them. And once I have the size I want, I'm just going to hold the other ones on that one and use it as a template to see where to rip my larger one. I cut this little flower off so I can put it above my butterfly because I felt like it was just kind of wasted when it covered it up like that. Tea break. I'm loving how this is looking, and now we can get into the games and movies and hobbies I have. So I've already been making cyanotypes, which I'm really happy about because I love to do that in the summer. And last summer I never got around to it. So I'm really happy that I've already made a few cyanotypes. And so for my hobbies I want to do this summer, I decided I want to specifically try to make cyanotype bookmarks just for something a little different. I thought these looked really pretty. I saw them on Pinterest. And so I think that would be fun to do. I will pop up some videos of my cyanotypes. I filmed a little bit of them and I'll just show you a little bit of the process. But essentially you paint chemicals onto paper, and you can get a kit from Amazon for not too expensive. I definitely recommend trying it out. They are light sensitive chemicals, and so you essentially make sun prints and they turn blue or cyan. They actually really turn kind of like this Prussian blue, which is really, really beautiful. And then here you can see I got a teapot and removed the background in Canva. That's what I'm trying to cut out right now. And this represents the tea that I'm happy I made some loose leaf tea. I asked for this teapot and these teacups for a birthday of mine not too long ago, and I was just not using them as much since I moved a few years ago. They were just kind of put away to keep from breaking, of course, but I want to prioritize making this kind of tea again because it's very like therapeutic. It's very relaxing and meditative, and I am really drawn to practices and hobbies and rituals that are meditative. So I wanted to bring back the floral tea brewing this summer. I also have pictures of picking blackberries and making blackberry jam because my mom has a really big blackberry bush and she made a lot of blackberry jam last year, and this year I want to pick some and make some jam myself. And then you can see some movies I have and the games that I'll talk about in a second. Let's cut them out. With those cut out, I usually like to do books up here and hobbies down here. And I like to write everything in a list and include some images for each category. Books obviously are the largest category with the images all back here. So I just do a list of the books right here under a header. So let's make the headers. I like to rip the same brown paper. Now with those titles ready, let's put a double strip of this washi tape behind each one, the same purple field that matches behind the letters of the title. And yes, I got ink on my fingers because I'm a little messy. My header's 2 strips of this thinner washi tape wide, but I overlap them like a little bit. I line them up with some dots and let them overlap so that it's not as wide as 2 strips side by side. And in the end, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dot grids tall. And then I just put my title on top. Now we can write the books with my Muji pen in the 0.5 size. And I'm just going to write all these books and leave room to potentially write a few others in here on my list. There's them all written out, and then we can put my hobby header just a little lower and leave a little bit of room for a couple other books if we want to add. For hobbies/activities, I have, of course, my tea I mentioned, making blackberry jam, and cyanotypes, specifically bookmarks. I think only a few of these will fit. I've included cyanotype pictures before, so maybe we should do that. Let's first write some in here and see how much room I have. So I want to bake a fruit cobbler or pie. I like to bake with fruit in the summer. So bake a pie. Want to make jam. Over here we can fit flower tea. And obviously I did it in this video, but I want to do it more times and make a little like habit of it over the summer. Something that I did yesterday was sit in my garage while it was raining outside, and I read a book, and I also painted with my kids for a little bit, and that was really lovely. So I'm going to put read and listen to the rain, and we're going to shorten it to read and rain because that'll fit better. And then cyanotype. I also just want to do a chalk pastel drawing/painting. I'll just put chalk pastel. And then I think that's good for now, and we can put the teapot and the jam. There we have that. And then on the other side, we'll put my header for games. For games, I have Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which came out on May 21st, which is like a few days ago when I'm filming this. And my birthday is the 29th of May, so I actually might get this for my birthday. So I put this as a new game on my list of games I want to play over the summer. And the other 2 games are games I already own. I like to plan a lot of the books and the games, things that cost money. I plan them according to things I already own, as a good way just to revisit some of my favorite things or to go through my physical TBR and not have to spend a bunch of money. Coral Island is a farming sim where you are on a beautiful island that has mines that you can explore, as well as a storyline where you can clean up the ocean. There are a lot of NPCs that you can romance and get to know. There's a really wide variety, and they have really good storylines. I love the characters and the depth that this game has in the NPCs. It's very heartwarming, and each character has kind of their own storyline as you get to know them and kind of level up your hearts with them. You get to unlock all these cutscenes, and it's very fun. It makes the game feel different than some other farming sims. It feels very lively around the town, very full, and I really like that about it. They had an update recently, and I really haven't made it super far in this game. I've completed the first year, and I did it very kind of efficiently, so I have a lot of things unlocked already. Like I think I completed the ocean cleaning up kind of side quest situation, or storyline, I mean. And I think they might have added more underwater things, and there's new characters you can romance and things like that. And I'm not married in the game or anything, so I thought this would just be a good game to get back into. I've been playing my Switch too a lot, but these two games are on my Steam Deck. The next one being Little Witch in the Woods. Little Witch in the Woods is really cute. I was playing it this time last year, I believe. My Steam Deck was new for my birthday last year, so around this time last year I started playing this game, and it was in early access when I was playing, and now it has been fully released. So I want to jump back into it and just keep playing it. It was very cute. It reminded me a little bit of Potion Permit, if you've ever played that game, but the storyline was definitely going somewhere different, so I'm curious to see where this goes. I didn't make it super far, and it's really cute pixel art game where you're a witch and you brew different potions and help revitalize this whole little town that got destroyed. And yeah, you go and search and gather for ingredients. It's very fun. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. I don't know too much of what it's about, but it looks very cute, and I never really played Yoshi's Crafted World, so I'm hoping this game will fill that void I have, and it looks very summery, so I'm excited for this. Lately, I keep my game list pretty short. It's just more realistic with how many books I want to read. So let's put Little Witch in the Woods. Let's put, and of course I'll probably be playing Pocopia, you know, still that game I've been loving, but these are just games I want to make time to revisit or to play during summer. And I'll leave like a little line for one more game maybe. I wonder if we can fit all three on here. I normally only do 2. I feel like I don't need the picture of Coral Island. I have used it in my journal before, or a journal for sure. So I think I will just put these 2. And now we can do the movies and TV shows I want to watch. I have not been watching TV shows for a while now, just because of all of my other hobbies have taken up all of my time. But I definitely have movies I want to watch or rewatch. I think I have watched all of the Studio Ghibli movies that are out except for The Boy and the Heron, so I really want to watch this. I don't know why I never did. I think I might do the green cover if I have room, because it's just really pretty. But I really want to watch this. I also want to watch Suzumi. I put this on a different one of my journals before. I can't quite remember. Maybe my memory keeping journal, but I never finished it. So I want to try to finish this. For some reason, my husband and I started it and we just never finished it. And if it doesn't fit, that's okay. We'll at least do this one. I like the greens over here on this side. We'll do that. Let's go ahead and put that down. We can draw around it or write around it. I just love this time of year with my birthday being in May and it being like spring turning summer. I've just always loved this time of year. Forgot to put this down. And yeah, I just really enjoy the month of May. So I was actually going to film my summer TBR in June, but I know school's already out and everything, so I was like, why not just do it now? Let's do a little more tea. I find that the paper doesn't glue well to the washi tape with a glue stick, so I have to use this tape. So if you've ever, I don't know, tried to glue on top of washi tape, just so you know, this kind of permanent adhesive works really well to stick things on top of washi tapes. Okay, let's put The Boy and the Heron. Summer always makes me think of anime movies, maybe just the way that Studio Ghibli movies I watched growing up capture the cicadas and the summery feel in a lot of different ones. So yeah, I definitely want to watch some good anime movies. I've seen a lot, but comment your favorite ones and I would love to check them out. I also want to watch The Other Bennett Sister, if I can find where I can stream it if it's not too expensive. The other, I know it's on BBC, but I don't know how much that costs. And then I'm sure I'll go see a movie this summer with my kids and stuff. So I think I'll put Kiki's Delivery Service on here because it would be fun to watch that and play Little Witch in the Woods around the same time. Not like at the same moment, because I like to watch my movies and pay attention, but the kids also like Kiki's Delivery Service, so that's a good one. And yeah, let me know if you have any other summer movie recommendations or TV shows. I probably can't make it through a lot of TV shows, but I could maybe do one more. And there we go. Now I want to put a few other stickers around just for decoration. I have these butterfly stickers. I have these stickers, butterfly stickers, and wildflowers from Jarty Designs on Etsy. And I'm thinking maybe these flowers are actually what I want. I didn't realize my camera cut off. I placed this dragonfly sticker where you could still see it behind the flap. This is by Jessica Lancaster Art as well, same as this butterfly. And now I'm just placing the little wildflower stickers. With those stickers added, I feel like it looks more complete. And now we can do a pan over to show you this side of the spread with books and hobbies. And this side of the spread with games and movies I hope to watch this summer. I really love how this turned out. I love the dragonfly and the butterfly sticker mixed with the Van Gogh washi tapes. Let me know what you guys think, and if you plan to do a seasonal TBR or if you've already done one. And I know I mostly do reading journal videos where I talk about books, but I've started making gaming journal videos as well where I talk about some of my games. And I hope to keep doing some vlogs here and there where I go over other hobbies with you guys, like maybe doing cyanotypes. So definitely comment and let me know what you would like to see next. And as always, thank you for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!